lovely Saturday morning. Alexa, what's the time, please?
It's 8:36 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Saturday the 11th of June.
Alexa, what's the weather like?
Currently, in Rochester it's 14 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun.
Yeah.
Today, you can expect partly sunny weather, with a high of 23 degrees and a low of 11 degrees.
Last night it was so hot. But it was in the afternoon, in the late afternoon, evening. I couldn't breathe with the heat. It was really, really hot. The dog was just slumped out like this. And along comes, with the heat, as it says in a publication, all the nasty bugs, the bed bugs, the fleas, the wasps, and all the stingy insects come out in this kind of weather. So you have to keep your sting cream in the cupboard and stuff like that, because the hot weather brings all the nasty little bugs, doesn't it? I know. Last night I really didn't feel like taking Max out for a walk. I'd been up and down the stairs umpteen times and my legs were hurting. It was really painful, but I dragged myself out after 7 p.m. last night. Max didn't really want to go out either, but he needs to go to the toilet, even if it gets so hot in this flat. So we both went around the field last night, which wasn't too bad. All that I can say was there was a hooded guy on the field in like a navy blue hooded coat, smoking weed. He's a regular visitor to the field. So, you get stoned walking past people smoking, cannabis joints. He was in the middle of the field with a blue hoodie over his head and he was smoking weed. And as I was walking past, a great big gush of it went up my nose. And that's it for me. Once I've inhaled cannabis, I feel like sick. I did manage to get up this morning, later than normal. There is my lovely cup of coffee. So the builders work on a Saturday morning. So they're not so noisy as they are during the week. They usually finish at 2. It was really noisy yesterday. So yeah, and all the food goes off, doesn't it? You buy the bread and then before you know it, it's gone mouldy if you leave it out. And I really don't like frozen bread. I can't stand it. When you heat up frozen bread, it just doesn't taste the same when it's toast. I don't like it. So all the bread goes off, all the milk goes off quick. And half the time you don't feel like eating anyway, just ice cream. And I've got plenty of that, thank goodness. And cold water. I must get an ice cube tray to put in my juice drink. Right guys, so it's a lovely weekend. I just take each day as it comes. The reason I went out last weekend because it was a bank holiday for everybody. Now most people work on a Saturday, don't they? A lot of people do. And I'm knackered out. I really don't want to go anywhere today. I'm just quite happy relaxing indoors and watching the telly and keeping cool. Because another thing is being out in the sun all day, every day, without sunscreen can cause skin cancer. So if you are going to sunbathe, put your sunscreen on, and especially on your kids, put the sunscreen on them. We all love the heat, we all love the sun, but with everything good comes other things. Just protect your skin. So like I said, I'm probably not doing very much today. not much at all. The gas still isn't sorted. She's got to come out again, but hopefully it won't be long. I was kept indoors a lot yesterday, and partly without my electricity, which was a bit scary. Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
What does a house wear? A dress.
That is original and slightly funny. Alexa, the thought of the day.
Here is your thought for June 11th. From Jack Ma. Never give up. Today is hard, tomorrow will be worse, but the day after tomorrow will be sunshine.
There you are, there's the sunshine. There's the sunshine. Right, Alexa, can you put LBC radio on?
LBC London from Global Player.
Placements across Europe, tens of millions were displaced. And one of the things that they wrote into it was what's called the non-refoulement clause, the non-return clause, which basically says that if a refugee arrives on your shores, then you shouldn't send them back to face persecution. And that's the critical clause, really, of the Refugee Convention. And there are concerns that by sending people to Rwanda, where they have they don't have a very established asylum system. You don't have interpreters, you're not allowed access to a lawyer. They'll just simply lose their cases and be sent back to where they came from, irrespective of whether they're a genuine refugee or not.
But Colin, Justice Swift, sitting in the High Court yesterday, said that no evidence of ill treatment or anything that violated their human rights could be found under Article 3 of the Human Rights Act.
He did, but what he was talking about there was just in the time that people will be in Rwanda before there is a full hearing of this case. So the case on Friday was what's called an interim injunction application, which is basically where everybody accepts that there's a full trial to come, and that's going to hopefully happen in the next few weeks. And the question before the court is whether somebody should get interim relief, whether they should be allowed to maintain the status quo, basically not be removed to Rwanda in this context in the meantime, and he ruled that they could be removed because they could always be brought back, and there was no evidence that anything would happen to them in the short term in Rwanda.
Right. There's going to be a full judicial review of all this before the end of July, but now we're banging this political football from end to end at the moment. There are people who are really those who will either suffer the consequences or will be deported or whatever, whichever way you happen to see it. Do you expect people to be on a flight to Rwanda on Tuesday?
I suspect that some people probably will be removed, and there'll be Syrians who fled civil war, there'll be Afghans perhaps who've been working with British forces, there'll be Iranians who have fled a really repressive regime. The people who talk about genuine refugees, and the UK is basically saying, yes, we take far fewer refugees than other countries in Europe, but it's too many, despite the fact that we're welcoming so many from Ukraine, and we're going to send them off to some very poor country in Africa that they've got absolutely no connection with.
What did you make of Prince Charles and the alleged comments around his attitude towards this policy?
Well, it's a strange position when you sort of find yourself agreeing with somebody in that position, but it is a very political thing to say, and I'm not entirely sure it's appropriate for him to be saying that. But it's not a surprise, I guess. He's got a summit coming up, which is actually being hosted, I think, in Rwanda in the next few weeks, and it's likely that this is going to be a political issue internationally.
If there are only going to be a handful of people on this flight, is another possible appeal the fact that it's not worth the money?
Well, that's a political question rather than a legal one. So
I was speaking to Meg Hillier from the Public Accounts Committee earlier on. I mean, it is very strange to stick 20 people on a plane, and I don't know, it just seems like, what are we doing this for?
Well, Rwanda says they'll take a few hundred a year. Now, there are, the number who arrive in the UK seeking asylum every year does vary. It's about 30 to 40,000 per year. And the vast majority of them end up eventually being recognised as refugees. There's huge delays in the asylum process at the moment. The idea that if you remove a few hundred a year, you'll stop all the others from coming, you punish a few in order to deter the others. It's unproven at best, and the percentage chances of you actually being removed are so low that a lot of us think that it's not likely to have any serious deterrent effect, as well as it being a really pleasant and humane thing to do for genuine refugees.
The Court of Appeal on Monday has the appeal been lodged.
I think it has. So there's going to be two cases being heard on Monday. There's one which is being brought, I think, by another charity called Asylum Aid, and there's also the appeal from the charities who brought the challenge on Friday as well. So it's sort of legally there's an awful lot going on.
Yes, it was, there certainly is. Thank you very much indeed for your time. I hope you speak again. Colin Gale, who's a asylum barrister at Garden Court James, also the upcoming book Welcome to Britain, 846 is the time. Coming up, 2 Britons captured by Russian forces while fighting in Ukraine have been sentenced to death. Here's one of the captured men, Aidan Adelin, speaking back in January about adjusting to life with the Ukrainian army.
Alexa, stop. Sorry, my videotape's coming to an end.